Episode would officially qualify me as a church queen. We're reacting to Dr. Jamal Bryant and Burrell on Dear Black Gay Men in the Morning, and the show starts right now. What up, though? I am Jay the Gentleman. That's at JAI the Gentleman on IG. It's Tuesday, so it's time for a new episode of Dear Black Gay Men in the Morning. And just like with all our content, hopefully this is your reminder of how dope it is to be black gay men who love black gay men. I've told you that I go to an affirming church. That's where I met Aaron and most of the team DBGM. We're all gay all the time, even on Sunday mornings. Today's topic, I met Dr. Jamal Bryant when he came to our church's Holy Convocation and apologized for the trauma inflicted on black queer people by the black church. Here's one response to what he said. Check this out.
I didn't know that Pastor Jamal Bryant years ago went to an LGBTQ Christian convention of some kind because they had invited him to come. He accepted the invitation, and when he got there, he apologized to the gay community for the acts of domestic violence that the Black evangelical church had inflicted on the gay community, propagated, incited, and supported. To me, I don't know if that's a big deal to you, but to me, hearing a black minister, and I don't know much about Pastor Jamal Bryant in full disclosure and transparency, but for him to have the courage to say and do that unashamedly, and he got slaughtered for doing so by the Black evangelical church, by the way, that's a whole nother situation. It's very telling because while I still know for a fact that the Black evangelical church is an extremely dangerous, toxic, unhealthy, unsafe place for the gay community, it's nice to see some ministers beginning to make the stride in the right direction.
So I had to watch that like 4 times because I was sidetracked by that man's titties.
Oh my God.
Like I really did have to like process because I was just staring at his chesticles the whole time. It was so interesting. But Dr. Jamal Bryant invited Kim Burrell to his podcast, and she gave her apologies to LGBT people. And they had a conversation that we're going to react to. I've been tagged and sent this video like 20 times on Instagram, on YouTube, on all the things. I didn't want to react to it because it's not really in our wheelhouse. We talk about dating and love and relationships, and this is 2 presumably straight people talking about gay stuff. But because we got it so many times, we're going to see what they have to say. I have not seen this podcast all the way through. I've seen bits and pieces of it on my Instagram timeline. So we're going to react to it all along together. But first, I have to please welcome the best producer in daytime TV, Aaron. How are you?
I'm doing good. Good morning. Good morning, y'all. I am feeling good. Oh, somebody said there's an echo in the audio. Hold on.
The best part about Aaron is that he's getting more accustomed to like talking into the mic. Right. I don't know if y'all remember, but that first episode, he was sitting like this far back the whole time, and he'd be done walked away and talking all across the room and all.
Yes.
He's getting a lot more accustomed like being close up on the mic. And it's the shape of we're about to talk about church stuff, so let me not be
I know what
too
it is.
vulgar.
I got it. Fixed it. I had to turn something back on. Okay, Kev, let me know if there's still an echo. But yeah, I am getting more comfortable. What happened to your camera? It's turned off. Bear with us.
We lost the camera.
Should
It's
we
coming
just
back.
Okay, let me see what it is. Oh, battery. It says it's plugged up, but I'm just gonna put a fresh battery in.
Okay, they can hear me, right?
I believe so.
Oh, look. So y'all can see like all the extra stuff. Y'all can see what it looks like. I'm little. This is kind of exciting that y'all get to see this. But
Let me go to a commercial break. Can we do that?
Sure.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
If I can find a commercial break. Here.
I got one.
Okay.
Oh, not that.
That works.
I've been in the gym so I could do 2 things. It's 1, thirst trap on the internet, and look good for my man when I find one. And that's why I'm excited that support for Dear Black Gay Men comes from Twillery. Black men, whether you're in the gym, like me, or blessed with good genetics, like me, carry our weight in a couple key spots that can make suits and slacks hard to fit and uncomfortable to wear without either having to size up or break the bank in tailoring. But Twillery answers the fit problem with their performance fabrics. It's the right fit for the tailored look and just enough stretch for comfort and breathability. I'm wearing right now the solid performance polo that hugs my chest and arms while tapering just enough at the waist to show off the good parts. Twillery carries suiting, polos, button-ups, and everything to impress at the job or knock someone's socks off on a date. And you can shop for the perfect fit right now at Twillery.com, and we've got a special offer for the DBGM family. Take $18 off your first order by using code M300J. That's Twillery.com, and we thank them for supporting our channel. Okay, we're back.
Do I need to
Zoom out a little bit.
Zoom out just a little.
There we go. Okay, we're back. So, Aaron, do you need a apology from the Black church? Like you.
For me specifically, no. I was blessed to grow up in a very nurturing community that loved all God's people. It had its ups and downs, but I didn't deal with all of the gay hate from my church specifically. It wasn't coming from the pulpit.
And see, I'm the opposite. They had the Black version of conversion therapy that they tried to send me through.
Oh, child.
Like my family wanted to have like people from the church come and like play ball with me and think that I just needed to be outside more.
Yes. I remember so that's where I say the things didn't come from the pulpit and from the church.
It came from where?
But like, so my dad did that whole thing of trying, thinking I need to play sports more, or I was just around my sisters too much. The ironic thing is I'm actually good at sports. I just don't want to play.
That'll do it. Okay, well, we're going to be reacting to that today. But first, of course, we need to do some church announcements. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do some church announcements. Check this out. All right. So, of course, first things first is our newsletter is new on Substack. We're going to talk a lot more about it later in the show, but remember, our newsletter is free to subscribe on Substack, and you get a deep dive into all the things that go on in our dating lives. And I'm excited to say that Aaron has a column on Substack.
Oh, I do. It went live. Ooh, child.
I'm very excited about it. I read your story, and now Aaron has a whole dating story that was a part of the conversation. It was great.
Yes, it was fun to write that and to kind of like let it out a year later. Because last year was crazy.
You better than me, because I process everything in real time. The things that I post everywhere are things that I just went through. Like when I posted about making 6 dudes come at the park, I had just did that like that day.
So you know me, like my birthday is in April and I posted about it in September.
Got it. Well, okay. So then, of course, the podcast is new every Tuesday. We go live at 11 right here for DBGM in the morning. Wednesday, of course, the podcast is new. I'm talking about my single life this week. And then Thursday, we will be back live. We are not live in the evening. We are live in the morning for DBGM in the morning. And then remember, the easiest way to support what we do here at Dear Black Gay Men is to become a member on our YouTube channel. Members get access to exclusive conversations, the members only chat, behind the scenes content, and you can join me to chop it up on the show. Becoming a YouTube member is one of the easiest ways to support what we do here. Just hit the join button below this episode, send a super chat of any amount, and for all the latest updates, follow me everywhere on socials at JAI the Gentleman on Instagram. That concludes our church announcements. Please govern thyself accordingly. We do have another commercial break. We have another commercial break. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, we'll be right back.
I'm supposed to hit it? Oh.
I'm a nudist, so of course I've got kinks and fetishes that will make even prison trade blush. Yes, I'm gonna double check for consent, because I don't care that you just slapped me in the face with your penis. Can I touch it again, sir? This is the part that culture misses. As a black nudist, I'm looking for spaces where I can be naked with other black men without getting sexual. That's why spaces like Reveal are so important. It's a new club night for men in Atlanta. Just like any club, there's a dope DJ, there's a full bar, the vibes are through the roof. The only difference is that this club is no clothes, no cameras, no creeps. I go to Reveal because it's showing Black gay culture that we can be nude together without being totally about sex. But
yes, you can have sex at our party, but we are not a sex party.
if you want to get your tickets to the next event, comment Reveal and I'll send you a link. Follow for more dope queer stories. Okay. You ready for this review, Aaron?
I am ready. I
No,
want to
why
tell you.
I'm so resistant to it.
You're very resistant to your church queen title.
Yes, I am. Kenya Kardashian. Happy Tuesday.
And then did you see Dante?
Hey, Dante Uchiha. Is that West African? Good morning, new subscriber here, loving your content, Jack. Thank you so much. Welcome to the family. I'm not opposed to being a church queen. It's just I don't want to have to explain my church queen-ishness, and I don't like other people trying to explain it to me either. But here we go. I haven't seen this from beginning to end, so we'll see what he got to say. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
I just got a call that says I've not been invited to come because there are people on the team who have not yet accepted that I'm worthy of this award. I had people walk in with a rainbow flag wrapped around them sitting in church, and I had to have church. I had to learn on-the-job training how not to continue to offend. I didn't know that it was offense. Had it been meant to offend, hey, that was a target. If they came the next Sunday, I could have gone for it. It wasn't that. It was in those moments that I said, okay, Lord, this is something bigger than I'm having to learn. I wish I could say that I had a spiritual father to call and say, hey, rescue me. Ooh, I feel the Spirit of God. I'm sorry, I felt the touch of God. I hate the hypocrisy that the church taught us to give and name it honor and say, you don't tell everything. Everything that happens at home stays at home. Well, that's what has cultivated so much and breeded so much. But I want to thank those who I've met and those who I have not met.
Okay. We ain't even through the sizzle reel, but I will say that is important. What the Black church has taught us to hide a whole bunch of stuff. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
Like, I think that, I don't know about you, but I was raised in a church. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say it's the church, but I was raised in a church edifice. Mm-hmm. And they did teach us, what stays at home, stays at home. What happens at the church, happens at the church. And you don't question the minister or the pastor or all of that. Hey, Kenya Kardashian just subscribed. Hey.
Yes.
Y'all see that? Did y'all see that?
I saw it.
This is very exciting. But yeah, like
I think that the hard part about, telling us to hide things. I saw a clip from another pastor that I follow. And he said a lot of times we confuse fleshiness with humanness. Like there's a difference between just being human versus being in your flesh.
How can you be one without the other?
Yeah,
human is flesh.
It's like your humanness is like you experiencing emotions. Like just because you're experiencing fear or you're experiencing sadness doesn't mean that you have no faith in God. You know what I mean? It's like it's literally just your human emotion.
Oh, okay. Because I was going a totally different direction with that.
Versus giving in to fear. Like experiencing fear and giving in are two different things.
Chase Christian has Kim Burrell with the vomit emoji. Joseph Whittingham says, it tickles me every time I understand, but this isn't live network TV. It's cute.
Here's what I'll give you context.
Oh, okay. I love the show, but I don't understand when you apologize for the commercials like you're getting a signal saying, cut, we got to go to commercial behind the scenes. Child, it's your commercials. Oh, okay. I started reading that. I was like, ooh, I don't know where you're going with that. But okay, I get it. Thank you, Joseph. Got it. Let's keep going through this because.
Thank you for considering me. Thank you for loving me beyond what you knew were misunderstoods.
Unfiltered discussion. Is it unfiltered though?
Here's how I got my team to use Monday Sales CRM and actually like it. Let me start by saying it's so easy to use that
I mean, it does say skips most commercials.
Hey, family, welcome to Let's Be Clear, the podcast that has just reached 100,000 subscribers.
Shout out to him
in
for
part
that.
because of you. I am so excited. about this chapter. We are in a new season with new perspectives, new voices,
Fast
new
forward.
faces, and new conversations.
If he's
Martin Luther King
no
Jr.
shade to
ascribed
pastors or
Be somewhere
preachers, but
else. So
Wow.
I live
usually
in this
introductions go a
realm
little
to
long.
receive what they offer as awards,
Yes.
but the goal is the reward for me. And I mean that. That's not podcast talk. That's
Yeah.
heart talk.
No, I'm grateful for it. And I want you as listeners to know we had no prep conversation
We never
before
do.
going into this podcast. I wanted to be
That ain't
real
the
and
case
raw.
here.
Sure.
So I just
We got a
celebrated
whole
my
bunch of
6th
prep conversations up
anniversary
here.
at New Birth.
Oh, congratulations.
And I just found out recently, and you don't even know it, and let me exonerate my present staff, which is Jonathan Nelson is my minister of music,
I did see this
co-director
part. He gonna
Tiffany
talk
Boone.
about how she didn't get
Neither
an
of
invitation.
them
Skip through this.
were at New Birth when I got
Let's get to
Why I
that
was
part.
doing it, that gave it passion that came off as abuse to those who don't understand the
Go back.
version of what the world heard and saw me do. It was a female, soft, sure, spirited delivery of what not only I had garnered from the environment of what I've grown up in, I was sure of the motive of why I was doing it, that gave it passion that came off as abuse to those who don't understand.
Pause right there. So this is my concern just in general about communication, not just pastors and congregants, but in general. For some reason, we believe that if my intention is pure, even if my delivery is traumatizing, then I'm good. Why is that?
It could be that folks can be very judgmental of themselves, and they a lot of times think if I admit that I did a bad thing, then that makes me a bad person. Instead of just recognizing I did a bad thing, unless like I didn't set out to do a bad thing, but there's still some reconciliation or some correcting that I have to do within myself because I have introduced harm.
Okay, I
And most
mean,
people don't wanna
that
do
was
that.
very intellectual, but I'm just really curious because it feels as if in Black culture,
Okay, hold on. Let me pause for a second. Let me dumb it down. People don't want to be in readable positions.
dumb it down. I don't know if I like any of that terminology, but
I would say, let me
people
make it
don't
more
want to be in
relatable.
readable position. Okay. Ooh, that's a long comment. I don't know who that just came from. But my concern just in general about Black connection, Black people, Black gay culture also is a lot of people think that if my intention is pure, if my intention is to do good things, but I do so in a reckless and traumatizing way, then that should absolve me from the responsibility of whatever I done did. And that's some bullshit.
Yeah.
And I think that is just a whole
that's
lot
like
of preachers
all
that
up
do
and
that.
through.
They're like, I'm preaching the gospel, even if I'm damning you to hell in the process, and that should make me all right. And I think that is what gay people are just so fed up with about the Black church.
I think the other thing, like, that's not just in Black church. That's throughout Black culture.
Yeah.
Like our parents tell us, I'm beating your ass because I love you.
Even though the beating is fucking trauma.
Yes.
Got it. But, and then at the end of it, I done beat the wrong kid. Like, I remember one time I got a whooping for my baby brother, and I took it because I didn't want him to get the whooping. But my mama finally realized, oh, I done beat the wrong kid. She ain't say sorry. She ain't give me no mea culpa. She said, "You hungry?" Is that anybody else's ministry? Like the highest level of apology in the Black household is, you want something to eat? Is that anybody else, or is that just me? Y'all let me know in the comments. What is it? It's a whole bunch of long comments coming in, Aaron. What are they saying? I can't see what they all say. Joseph Whittingham, I do agree with the importance of remembering you're still going to have a human experience as a spiritual being. The presence of God will help guide, not change the difficulties we have seen in this realm. You a little churchy, Joseph. Chase Christian Levering, that is not a read. That is not intended to be offensive. I'm just making observations. Trace says some people don't care about the ideology of intention versus impact, only care to be right. It's better to have empathy and sympathy with others. Okay.
Because that's what was her? I about to say Ayanla, but that the therapist on Insecure. She asked Molly, "Do you want to be right or do you want to be in a relationship?"
That's what your therapist asked you. You said that last 2 years ago at your birthday.
Oh, child, I stole that from Insecure. My therapist asked me that.
Oh,
Or he might have said it.
my therapist had told me to say things to explain situations. You want to go to the store with me? That's another one. That's another good one where people trying to apologize. You want to go to the store?
Mm-hmm.
Got you. My therapist said, explain this to me where you're not in the middle. Like I was very self-centered in how I was processing the world around me. Everybody was trying to offend me about everything. And he said to me, explain this to me in a way that you're not in the middle. Like, is there a way of looking at this where it's not all about you? And when he told me that, I got it so good. Kevy Kev says, that's most definitely happened to me as a kid, Jay. No, sorry, just you hungry. Exactly. We are the best thing. No, it's not the best, but it's very interesting to me that black culture is just so consistent. Because Kevy Kev, I don't know where you from, but I was born in Flint, Michigan, raised in Dallas, Texas. And the fact that I have the same experience as so many others. Aaron got the similar experience. He was in Houston. We got somebody that's on the team that was born and raised in Decatur, Georgia, got the same experience. They did all of that without Google. How?
It's called trauma. Collective trauma.
Okay, let's keep going.
We have a world in church. Like when I say this, we have such a world. We have our own language. We know we know people that are in church, how we dress. We can go to the grocery store and say that's church. Right. And it's not an Easter suit. It's just we have a spiritual posture that we know it's church. It's churchy. I'll never forget, I got to London, England many years ago, and I got there and I'm switching out the money before I left the airport, making the exchange, and the church in me said, when I received the money back, I said, all right, Mother better have our own money, because Queen Mother was on it. And the person behind the petition said, Her Highness the Queen.
Hey everybody, it's Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi. I have a question for you. If you had to make a choice between...
Okay, I'll let you handle the commercial. But I think that one thing that I have a issue with, because now we talking about a whole bunch of stuff. This is very, very outside of our beaten path here, Dear Black Gay Men. But this is a cultural component that I really want to grapple with between us girlfriends, the squirrel friends, as RuPaul would say. I have an issue when preachers and pastors confuse a church posture, like she was just saying, with a spiritual posture. Spirit and church is different.
Completely
aren't
different. They? Very different. People can look churchy. Ooh, I was about to say something. People can master churchy.
Yeah.
You can master churchy through imitation. You can master churchy through all that. But I think your spiritual posture comes through a very, a change in your heart. And that comes through learning, developing, apologizing, realizing you were wrong, and wanting to do right by other people and care about your fellow man.
And I think that's the part that just pisses me off about churchiness, is that, like you were saying, I think this is where I'm understanding what you were saying about how there is a human experience and a fleshy experience and a spiritual experience. And for some reason, the church folk just want to be so spiritual, so Bible, that they forget that these are actual people on the other end of it. Yeah. And as a gay person that has played the organ in the church, that has been the minister of music in the church, that has been put out of several churches because of how gay I am, what I lost in those instances, what they did not do was connect with me as a human being. And I think anytime that you so churchy that you can't see that this is a human being that has thoughts and feelings and wants and desires and emotions, then throw the whole thing away to me.
I saw this video. It was a mother. I can't think of her name. I see her screen name on Instagram, but she comes up on my feed a lot. And so her mother posted a video because she is trans, right? And the
mother is trans?
No, the daughter is trans.
Got it.
And the mother said, she was basically posting emotions like, this is my baby. She said, can't nobody convince me to give up on my baby. Can't nobody convince me to throw her away or to demean her or to, discriminate against her or anything like that, because this is my baby. Like, I just have to adjust because this is my baby. I made a commitment before God, and I made a commitment when I brought her into this world that I was going to be her protector. And so I'm not going to throw her to the wolves and let these people embarrass her, shame her for just being who she is. I'm more focused on where her soul is. And everybody tries to connect where your soul is to your outward appearance, to your outward conformity with society or with church, and not where your soul actually is.
And that's probably why, and that is one of the reasons why I wore this cutoff verse AF shirt while we talked about this particular video. But Kevin Kev said that behavior also teaches us not to apologize when we were wrong, and teaches us that money can fix things instead of words. That's another level. That's the next level deep. Let's keep going.
Mm-hmm.
What I loved about that, what I learned from that, is that she had been taught to respect and to honor and to do what she did for. Even behind there, even though I was foreign, she didn't have time to teach me a lesson, but show me, this is how we respect it. She didn't bash me. That's the misfortune of the four walls of the church. They don't always know what it takes to be beyond the four walls. You know,
pause right there, because I think that's another problem that happens in the Black church. Is all these pastors get up on these platforms, on these pulpits, behind these podiums in their leisure suits, and they want to preach in a way, or they preach in a culture that says we can't correct you. Like this example that Kim Burrell just gave. This man, presumably a white man, European, obviously, but presumably a white man, does not respect her as a pastor. He might respect her as a person because she is, and he corrected her because she was out of line. And the irony is just the culture of the Black church does not create an atmosphere where anybody can call the pastor, can call the preacher on their shit and make change. And so what happens is these pastors get with other pastors and have these closed-minded, antithetical, misogynist, xenophobic, homophobic ideologies. And then they end up coalescing with each other and get even more crazy, and nobody ever breaks them out of the mold.
Yeah. And I think that it's this idea that only the pastor can hear from God, that God can only speak to the pastor.
God been speaking to me ever since I came on this world.
Right? God speaks to everybody in that congregation. And so I think there's this incorrect hierarchy of thinking that, oh, God speaks to the pastor and the pastor speaks to us. It's like, no, God speaks to all of us.
Yes. But I don't think the Black church ready for that one. What is Ricardo Bernardez says, Brazilian here, currently engaged to a Black American. I love your channel. It helps us a lot as a couple. Hugs from Rio. Aww. Is that an invitation to Rio? Because you know,
I got some.
I love an international stamp on my passport. But yeah, I just think that the Black church, I think that all of this is one of the reasons why the Black gay folks don't end up in church. Is not because there are not people that are sensitive to what it means to be queer. Because there are many straight people that absolutely are sensitive what it means to be queer. It's just these messages come from the pulpit and nobody wants to check them on it. And then I check them on it, and next thing you know, I'm in conversion therapy.
I mean, the Bible shows us that church people aren't necessarily the people to glean knowledge and things from, because the church people put Jesus on the cross.
The church, well, we ain't gonna debate doctrine, because I ain't a theologian. But what I
was
do
in the
know,
crowd, and who did they ask for?
What I will talk about. What I will talk. See, you trying to turn this into a Wednesday night Bible study, and we are Tuesday morning, and I'm in this cut off ass shirt with these tight ass jeans and Chelsea boots on. Like, we ain't gonna lose our dear Black gay men in this. Oh, we're not getting trolled in the comments.
Okay. The folks are actually sharing their stories. Like,
let's see what some of them say.
Little Shorty.
I can't do any type of churches of any religion, because with us LGBTQ people, they'll say they open to us, but then after a while they try to say we are abomination unless we change to be straight. BS. Now I'll give you that.
It's just like when the girls say that they cool with us, but then that one time they get mad, we a faggot.
That's another good example. I've been in that position where where women, Richard Durham says, I haven't been back to the Black church since I was 15 when my mom stopped forcing me to go. Baby, shout out to your mom. Because the way that she might have helped you sidestep so much trauma just by giving you a choice, OMG. Shout out to your mama. Ricardo Bernardes says, you will be welcome. Come visit us in Rio. Don't tempt me with a good time now, Ricardo, because I'll be down there on the beach somewhere. Now, granted enough, in my spirit, I don't know the geography of Brazil, but in my head, Rio is just like endless beach. So forgive me if I'm ignorant, but let's keep going.
I'm going to skip forward.
Okay.
Let me see.
When a client comes to us with an ask to launch an influencer marketing
he got them
campaign,
good persistent. So I'll tell everybody while this is getting worked out, we definitely did set up YouTube Premium so we do not get ads. And Jamal Bryant said, I'm going to get this AdSense dollars. He said, I'm going to get these dollars. But go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do.
And I have never felt the pushback that I felt.
Go back just a little bit.
Okay.
Because I think you're talking about I Elevate.
The world and recover well, but you're still intimidating when you walk in a room to your brothers, to your sisters of the faith. We're in bad shape and we need God badly.
I have been in public life my entire life.
I sympathize with you.
Yeah.
I do.
And I have never felt the pushback that I felt from when I went to a LGBT Christian LGBT convening.
Mm-hmm.
They brought me to talk about social media and marketing and the impact of that. And I apologized for the role of the Black church inflicting domestic terrorism.
Thank you.
That the same level of hate that white extremists have inflicted on us is what the Black church has done to that community.
Okay. Let's unpack this a little bit. So now, before I get to what he said, Aaron, let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
We both had this look side eye when Kim Burrell was like, thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
What was your side eye about?
The thank you, like she said, thank you for apologizing. But I'm just like, you got a platform too.
Well, no, I think mine is Kim Burrell just saw the light 3 hours ago. Like she ain't been on the bandwagon. Mm-hmm. Now, Dr. Jamal Bryant, I will say, now granted enough, I've followed Dr. Bryant a lot. There's a cardinal outside. That's what that was. Oh. But Dr. Bryant, I follow a lot more closely than Kim Burrell. And Dr. Bryant has been talking about social justice for the longest. He has been talking about how we need to empower women and we need to empower the Black fathers. And so many components of our culture need uplifting now more than ever, right?
Because I think we make a stronger coalition together.
We do.
And we cannot deny the impact and the contributions of Black LGBTQ people on the civil rights movement.
Correct. But Kim Burrell just started singing this new song last week. Mm-hmm. And I don't get how she's made such a 180 and expect us to just welcome her with open arms. We were just let God be true quickly in social media time like last week.
What I will say is that there's more to Kim Burrell that people complain about online than just what she had to say about the LGBTQ community.
Right.
Folks just think that, folks comment and say all the time that, I just think her spirit ain't right. She got a nasty spirit and she's very critical and she doesn't give her critiques with love and blah, 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 all of these things. And so I think that there's like layers to it. And so I think because of that previous layer, it's like, it's hard when somebody that has been portrayed as the mean girl turns over a new leaf. It's never going to be an instant like, oh my God, thank you, you're so great now. There's always a learning curve and a period of growth.
Chase Christian said she probably made a 180. Oh, it went away. Well, she probably made a 180 because what?
Someone close to her, like family, probably just came out.
Probably. Or she couldn't get a good hairstylist.
Oh, Lord.
hairstylists, nails, fashion, all the things that we are stereotypically known to excel at. She shot us in the foot.
And I also
and she probably couldn't get, and she said that she was losing bookings and people were not inviting her places because they did not want to be associated with what she was known for.
Yeah, and the hard thing is you have a lot of people that are performatively supportive of the gays. And they don't want to.
There are a lot of gay people that are performatively supportive of the gays.
Exactly. So there are a lot of people that are performatively supportive, and they don't want to risk. Like, they're like, oh, we bring her, then we can't performatively be supportive.
Because now you got to actually support.
Exactly. Or you have to actually not support them. You have to make a choice.
Because one thing that I will say about Kim Burrell, talent aside, and now you can call it anointing, talent, whatever it is, she can sing. She really does have a gift from something that comes way beyond us.
Like, Kim Burrell inspired artists that we love.
Yes.
Like Beyonce, Destiny's Child, Whitney Houston, like the R&B girlies that are now doing all those runs, like all the content on Instagram that we see with all these run challenges. You can trace that back to her.
But the gotcha about it is that is why when she offends people that support her, it hurts so much more because we have put her on a pedestal. It's just like if Beyonce said something that was totally sideways, like it would rock the world.
Yeah.
And Kim Burrell, in large part, is the gospel version of that. Mm-hmm. You know, is Kim Burrell the Clark sisters and, you know, Shirley Caesar or something? I don't know. But like, when she says things that are blatantly offensive, in my head, I'm just thinking, you got to know better than this.
And
you gotta know better.
Where's your team? Like the PR, the media training?
They are church people. Let me tell you this. I have worked with so many pastors that are surrounded by people that are only focused on giving them what they want. Adjutants, armor bearers, cup bearers are the most yes man people I have ever met in my life.
Yeah.
Because people do not, and it's not the person, it's not the personality, it's just the structure of a black church does not create space where you get pushback. Like, the interesting thing about it here, I feel like I am somewhat of a leader, but the most our team grows when we do stuff that's really groundbreaking is because everybody is on the opposite side of something than me. And I need a little convincing to make sure that I'm going to say the right shit. But then next thing you know,
but there's a difference.
We get 1 million views on the damn Twitter the other day.
The crazy thing is, I respect you as the leader of this podcast, but I also respect you enough to tell you got that wrong. Or
as you did yesterday, you said I said something that made me sound like an asshole. Which we will not touch on what I said, what happened, because I don't want to sound like an asshole again. But you get it.
Yeah, and I think that there is just this delicate balance. And there's also this idea in what they call it in church culture that you can't question God. But I'm not going to go too deep into that.
Okay, Panther says they mess up their money because us gays have the...
No, but for real.
I don't tongue out with because we do have the coins. We do have the coins. Kevy Kev says money will make anybody about face in public, but remain the same behind the curtain. So but here's the thing. This is the question for everybody. Aaron comments. We understand that Kim Burrell has been the anti-LGBT train for a long time. And to her credit, I will say that is because she was just reared in a culture that's steeped in anti-LGBT sentiments, right?
I have one question though, because I don't follow her. I guess I like her music. I don't follow like all her personal appearances or all those things. Did she do anything outside of the "Let God Be True" quickly? Like, was there anything else that she actually did, or were? Oh, she did. Okay.
Kim Burrell used to offend people who appeared feminine or gay on Sunday Best. Kim Burrell used to offend openly from the pulpit, offend people in her own church. She would talk about gay folks disparagingly on several speaking engagements. Kim Burrell has a well-documented history of being against the girls.
Oh, okay.
Because we need deliverance, because we need prayer, we need to let go of demons.
My thing is, if you gonna do it, be consistent, because the girls need deliverance until you need a background singer.
The girls need deliverance until you need a whole bunch of things. A choir director, all the stereotypical roles that we play in the church. I know a whole bunch of lesbians who can shred down on an organ or magnificent on the drums. We have had lesbians on the keys, the sopranos. I know a whole bunch of the girls that are power tenors and choir directors. And then the people who touch it up your makeup backseat. Like, all of those things are roles that we play in a church. And the second that you start messing with her money, she figured it out. Only time will let us know if she's really changed. So let me ask you this, because that's a perfect segue. Here's my question for everybody. What could she say to help us turn a corner on her? If she has authentically turned a corner, if she has done a 180 and she's a lot more sensitive, she's learning, then what could she say legitimately? Like, what do we need to hear from her in order for us to start believing it?
I don't know. I feel like I think that there has to be a shift, and I look for this in leaders, especially in the faith space. I don't want you to just start becoming accepting of the LGBTQ or whatever. I think that I see a shift, and one thing that I look for is like when you start preaching Black liberation theology, and like looking at none of us are free until all of us are free type things. Then I'm just like, that kind of separates the performative from the people who really about it.
Okay, Kevin Kev says multiple years of changed behavior. Now I'll give you that one too, because she's had multiple years of digging her homophobic hole, right? Put up that comment from Bernard Wiley. Thank you, Aaron. I'll never forget when Kim was on Tamara Hall talking ish about Yolanda Adams. Tamara was like, Yolanda's a homegirl and is not here to defend herself.
Because that's my hometown hero.
Because now, I'll tell you this. This is total sidebar, but my like talk show trifecta, of course, Oprah is at the pinnacle. Tamara Hall, Sherry Shepherd, Andy Cohen. Those are the four that I'm like, that I want to be like. The people that I watch the most, because Aaron will tell you that I love a talk show, is Stephen Colbert. Stephen Colbert, I can watch that man do anything.
Did you see Jasmine last night?
No, I didn't. I watched Stephen Colbert in the middle of the day because I go to sleep early. But now, one thing I appreciate the most about that Tamara Hall Kim Burrell interview is that what it felt like Tamara Hall was trying to get out of her is you know there's a better way to be. And at that time in Kim Burrell's journey, she didn't see it. She authentically did not see that there is a different way you can be a pastor or a church leader and not so offensive.
Because I think the thing is, sometimes people can't see that better way because they haven't forgiven the people who offended them. And so when you have that unforgiveness, you're bound to repeat the same things of the person who hurt you.
Yeah. Now I was about to say something really offensive that was going to get me canceled. But this is what I will say is, I think that what you just said, Aaron, applies a lot to us. Is there's a lot of offense that has been inflicted on queer people by the Black church. Kim Burrell is just one piece of a much bigger trauma puzzle, right? Yeah. And I think for us, if there's an opportunity for us, I think a lot of our growth is stunted because what we want is Kim Burrell to create a change for everybody. Like Kim Burrell can give her mea culpa, Kim Burrell can apologize, Kim Burrell can do right, but then we as people who are receiving the trauma are seeing her alongside all these other dumbass pastors and hoping that she will create a change like across the board, and that's just not the case. Like
Sure, she might be a ripple. she'll just be a part of a larger change.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think that because she is on such a pedestal, they would hope that, oh, if she gets with the program, maybe the others will.
Yeah, but I just think that black pastors who are on this journey, like Kim Burrell says she is, have a whole lot of learning to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's like there are things that I think that are very offensive, but I don't. It's not that I have to unlearn all of my offensive ideas. It's I have to learn a new level of awareness to where I can start self-regulating.
Yeah.
And when people start, and one thing I know is when people start hooping and the organ is organing and the drum is drumming and the church is going, that is when all your true colors start showing. That's when you getting off script and now you telling us what your realty is.
Yes.
And that's what I'm looking for from Kim and other pastors is when you start hooping at the end of the service. Are you including the gays in that? Are we represented there?
Yep. Because that's where my a pastor of mine, I'm not gonna say his name, but a pastor of mine,
I'm glad you're learning.
He went on a journey as well.
Okay.
And they crucified him for it. In the press, all the other pastors.
Because this is your cross to bear.
Yeah, like they crucified him for it. And I could really just see the change. I won't comment on what led to the change, but you really see the change in the way that he preaches, in the way that he draws a parallel between the black struggle, the black gay struggle. And I remember he preached a message that said, before you raise your eyes up to tell somebody else to get their foot off your neck, you need to look down to see whose neck your foot is on.
You know, that's really profound. Real quick, Bernard Wiley says the black church is full of servant leader bull. Man, once you show me your true color, Panthro is saying, hey Panthro. I think Panthro said like you had a meeting or something. Panthro be moving schedules around to be here on Dear Black Gay Men. I'm really excited about you. But he said, man, once you show me your true colors, I respect you, but I will bow out. Now, one thing that I think happens just in black spaces, and ironically, it was Consciously who told me this, and Consciously said that we forget that in the spaces that we are in, we have privilege. Mm-hmm. Like in queer spaces, I have male privilege because there are things that trans people do not. Mm-hmm. There are luxuries that I have that trans people may or may not be able to fully embrace. In straight spaces, straight people have privilege, but a lot of very elementary understandings of what privilege looks like would say that black people ain't got no privileges because we live in a white supremacist society. Like, but no. Although we do not have white privilege, there are many privileges that we do have. And until you can fully embrace that, you can't understand the plight of people who don't have it. Mm-hmm. I had to embrace male privilege, and you know, I'm bigger now, so I appear masculine and all those things so that I can understand what it's like, or I can start understanding what it's like to not have it. And I think the black church has to understand that there are privileges that they have in certain spaces, so that they can be more sensitive to the plight of people who do not have those same privileges. Just me said, the black church has not ever been a safe space for LGBT people. Our religion was colonized by white men, and we learned that hateful rhetoric from them. Mm-hmm. I'm with you when you're right. You are absolutely right. The question becomes, how do we grow from that? Amore 89, hi, hope y'all are good. I'm conflicted with the church because it's always been an unwelcoming space for me, so I just devote myself to God, not the church. Would you call that being spiritual versus religious? Amore? Is that you saying that you are more spiritual and less religious? What does that look like for you if you could give it language? Let me know in the comments. A space I do not feel welcome. Is that the same comment? A space I do not feel welcome in. LGBT community nor disabled community feel discriminated and ostracized in both.
Oh, wow.
Thank you for adding that, because that's a component of this I didn't even think about. You know, I get so caught up, Dear Black Gay Men, and I'm versus fuck and all the things. Like the fact that you added that to the chat. Differently able people are just deal with a lot of the similar levels of discrimination and whatnot. I'm here for that. Let's try to keep going, because
The
There's one
brutal
conversation turning into everything.
outrage of pastors who said, how dare you love? How dare you beg for grace?
Oh, wow.
When I consider myself a champion of human endeavor and human rights. So I say, okay, it's wrong for the police to beat black people, but it's not wrong for the black preacher to abuse people. And it really was, it was shocking for me.
Now, I will say that is really, pause. That is really powerful that he said that. That it's wrong for the police to beat us, but it's all right for us to beat ourselves. Now that Dr. Bryant, you got a believer out of me with that one.
But that's straight back to what we were talking about earlier, on how our parents say, "I beat you because I love you. Because if I don't discipline you, then they gonna discipline you worse."
That's true.
Because we're stuck in that mindset.
We are stuck in a very toxic mindset around
what they call it, post-traumatic slave syndrome.
Oh, yeah, that I don't know if that's what they call it, but that's really good. Lil Shorty says, I agree with disabled people are discriminated a lot in LGBT community. Yes. I think differently abled people are discriminated a lot, period. But also in queer culture, because we have this we are so infatuated with perfection. Like for black dudes, we wanted to be tall with a deep voice and a nice body and a big dick and a fat ass and masculine and all this other stuff. And any deviation from that is not desirable. Yeah. My question before we close out, because we've been here for 45 minutes. My question before we close out for us is there, because I've seen a lot of sentiments that say me and the black church don't get along. Is there any openness in your spirit for those who are like, I don't do the church? Is there any space to say that the black church can change, or is the book written and you've moved on? I'm really curious about that, because I do think that there is. And Aaron, maybe you could offer some insight or some discussion about this, but I do think that there is power in being able to mend church hurt.
They always say that nothing is stronger than a heart that was broken that's been mended. But I do think that in order to, like, there's a difference between an apology and a healing.
Yeah.
And it's like the apology is like step 0. But there's so much more that has to go on to really decenter the patriarchal ideas that run the black church. And those ideas have to be shelved. People have to be comfortable being like, you know what? I'm going to, like, it's kind of like diversity. If we just use diversity, like whatever they call DEI as an example. DEI wasn't successful because people just thought, oh yeah, we just gonna hire some black people.
Some black people we can control. Exactly. Or black people we can handle, or black people we can.
But once it turned into, oh, wait, I'm going to have to step aside. I might not get promoted so that we can promote equity. I might not be able to throw my homeboy in for this job, or, because like once they realized that they were going to have to give up something, that's when a lot of people bow out of the fight.
There's a comment in there from Dabble. Put that up. Because this is the real question I'm trying to get at. He's Dabble, he, she, they. Again, I'm not trying to misgender anybody, but I think rather than men black church spaces, it's more important to create our own spaces and our own spiritual understanding. But my question for that, Dabble, is if, for instance, we created our own space full of black people and it was a church, would our collective, our cultural spirit even be sensitive to the idea that there is a space available for us? Because I think that a lot of times when you put all the trappings of black church on a very woke mind, it still feels like black fucking church.
Yes. I think that because we get distracted by the trappings, we get distracted by all of these things that we think we need to have in order to have church that really are just holding us back.
Okay.
So like everybody, like feels like you have to have like, you know what I'm about to say?
Go ahead, keep going.
Everybody feels like you have to have like, the choir has to sing real good and the soloist got to hit every note and the band got to be jumping and, somebody got to have their praise break. Somebody got to fall out and all of these things and the preacher got to hoop and holler and give me and do all of that.
Yes.
And we feel like that is a label of authenticity.
Okay.
And it's not. Because you can have all of those trappings and it's just a performance.
Agreed.
And it's nothing. And it's like you have to really get down to, instead of looking at the outward of appearance of things, focus on the souls.
Now, having worked in many churches, I would say that a lot of church leadership would say that they do focus on the souls. And that has them in these very homophobic, misogynist ministries.
What do you mean?
Like they believe that their job as a church is to get people to heaven.
But hold on. They're not focused on the souls. They're focused on physical criteria to get to heaven.
But to them, they would say they are focused on saving souls, on deliverance. And that is the ammunition that they use to get all of us hooked. But the true tea is what I'm hearing from you is focusing on humanity is more important than focus on divinity.
Yes. No. Yes. Because my thing is people shout and run around church and have all of these spiritual experiences and go home to an empty fridge. Go home and trying to figure out how they're going to pay their bills.
Home to an empty home.
Go home to an empty home.
They don't even feel at home.
And it's just like, how can we talk about, everybody wants to talk about getting you to heaven. And I read a post, it said, they got you so focused on heaven that they're making your life hell on earth. And I don't think that's what God wants for us.
I don't think so either. But the hard part about that, to tie this all together before we go to comments and no comments, but the hard part about all of that is Black queer people have a very unique experience inside Black church. Because for a lot of us, not every one of us, but a lot of us, the Black church, church was where we wanted so badly to be accepted. We wanted to sing in the choir or play the things, or we wanted to be on the praise team or all the things. And just like we put Kim Burrell on a pedestal, so when she hits us, it hurts more. We put the Black church on a pedestal. So when we get hurt in the church, it strikes a chord so deep that we just close off that part of our life. Because that was my story. We close off that part of our life so that we can't experience that pain again. And my question for all of us as we go to our break is there a way to open that part of our life back up to where a church, a religious body, a spiritual convening of people could get to you? Or are we done? I think that's a perfect time to take a break because Aaron is about to lose it over here. I don't know if it's he falling out or what, but Aaron's about to lose it. Kevy Kev says some of the gays definitely focus on the souls. All right. Get out of town. We'll be right back. I've been in the gym so I could do two things. It's one, thirst trap on the internet, and look good for my man when I find one. And that's why I'm excited that support for Dear Black Gay Men comes from Twillery. Black men, whether you're in the gym, like me, or blessed with good genetics, like me, carry our weight in a couple key spots that can make suits and slacks hard to fit and uncomfortable to wear without either having to size up or break the bank in tailoring. But Twillery answers the fit problem with their performance fabrics. It's the right fit for the tailored look, and just enough stretch for comfort and breathability. I'm wearing right now the Solid Performance Polo that hugs my chest and arms while tapering just enough at the waist to show off the good parts. Twillery carries suiting, polos, button-ups, and everything to impress at the job or knock someone's socks off on a date. And you can shop for the perfect fit right now at Twillery.com, and we've got a special offer for the DBGM family. Take $18 off your first order by using code M300J. That's Twillery.com, and we thank them for supporting our channel. Okay. I was really supposed to be doing something while we were on break. But this has been our show. You ready to comment on comments here?
Yes, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Okay. I posted on our Substack the question, how do you resolve dating conflict? So, Aaron, I'm going to pose a question for you. I want everybody to let me know in the chat, too. Okay. You are dating somebody. Y'all are in an argument.
Okay.
You're locked in. You believe one way. They believe a different way. These things do not go together. Mm-hmm. What can he say to help soften you enough to start resolving the problem? What do you want to hear that lets you know that he wants to resolve this?
Okay. I don't know. I feel like in an argument, folks, the biggest thing that I've learned when addressing conflict is to focus less on the action and focus more on how it made you feel.
Okay.
Because I feel like once you begin to talk about how something made you feel, that's much easier to digest and dissect versus trying to determine whether my action was right or wrong or all these things.
Okay.
It's like, let's go after the feelings and let's figure out what made you feel that way and what was my intentions behind it.
But what does he have to say to communicate that that's where his spirit is?
I don't know. We just got to talk about, like, we have to shift the conversation.
I think that's the reason why I'm so curious about this. And I will tie it back to Dr. Bryant and Kim Burrell, is because when we're in conflict, you believe one way, I believe a different way, right? Mm-hmm. There's got to be something.
Give me an example.
I'll give you something that I went through recently.
Okay.
With someone I dated a while ago. But every time we got into an argument, I'm telling him, this is how I feel. What you did made me feel whatever. Mm-hmm. And he would say, well, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Like, what do you want me to do? But hearing what do you want me to do never made me feel better about, it never helped me mend the broken feelings.
Yeah, what do you want me to do is a passive aggressive answer, in my opinion.
But when I unpacked this with the person I was dating, he really that was his way of trying to say, I want to resolve this. How can we fix it? But the question is, but clearly what do you want me to do never hit the core the way he said so. So what would it be?
I guess number one is apologize. Like, literally, if I'm saying that something you did hurt my feelings or apologize. That's like step 0.
Okay, what's step 1?
Step 1, apologize. And then let's say, let's get into let's say, the fact that I went out to eat and didn't bring you anything home, right?
Oh, yeah, that would get me.
Okay.
So that would grind my gears. That wouldn't be an argument, but that would definitely grind my gears because I like to eat.
Yes. And then you're like, hey, that kind of hurt my feelings that you didn't bring me anything back. Like, it just felt like you're not thinking about me. And I was like, oh, no, I'm sorry. Like, next time I'll definitely think about you. But just in case, what do you like to eat? Like, what's your go-to meal so I know what to bring you? Like, what?
But that's a little pity pat argument. I'm talking about when it's when you in the thick of it, and it's something big.
Okay.
Like, I really, now granted enough, we probably not gonna get to the bottom. Are the comments saying anything?
Okay, let's see. Well,
Aaron be just watching the comments. Well, you need to express what you need in order to feel whole again. Yeah, I think if he's willing to talk it out without raising his voice and willing to understand how I feel versus letting it go in one ear and out the other, I'll give you that one too. Richard said it's giving avoidance. What do you want me to do?
Yeah. That's what I think.
Do I know Itachi? Do I know you? I feel like I now that I see a picture, I feel like I know you. We know each other, don't we? Depends. Shamar Will says, I just go silent and get ready for my departure. Oh, Shamar. We'll have to talk about that next time.
But I think I don't think there's an exact phrase that you can say. It's just like what Richard said. What did Richard say? No, the little shorty said, like, just being willing to talk about it. Like, I feel like the what do you want me to do is having me to take responsibility for your actions and tell you what you need to do instead. And I don't think that is.
I don't think that's healthy.
I don't think that's healthy or fair. It's just like you want me. It's like, ooh, child. Like
you was about to tell your business.
I wasn't about to tell my business.
You were probably about to tell mine. Okay.
Itachi says, Itachi? I hope I'm saying that right. He said, yeah.
I knew that face now that I see a picture. Okay. All right. That's commenting on comments. Remember, you can, if you want your voice heard, just subscribe to our newsletter on Substack. You can click the screen or the link is in the description. That was our show. Oop, wrong button. My bad. Is the music playing?
Yes.
That was our show. I am Jay the Gentleman. That's at JAI the Gentleman. We'll be right back here with Dear Black Gay Men in the morning on Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. Then the podcast is new on Wednesdays. I appreciate you more than I can express. I'll see you next time.